What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the Weekly Square Gamers podcast, where some dudes get around and talk some caca, some shit about video games. I'm Mike, and today we got Jay with us. What is going on, my man?
Nothing much. Hola, konnichiwa, and all the in between. Everyone listening, thanks for listening.
Jay, so this is probably our busiest and funnest time of the year. The first of the year releases, the big releases. One of the most anticipated games for the last year and a half, Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I've read on it. I hear really good things about it. I haven't heard any negatives yet, other than some stuff feeling samey. But what is your take on this? Because I know you've been looking at this game since the E3 it was shown.
Yeah, so first of all, quick plug over on our YouTube channel. Myself and Nate, we did a featurette on the game, and we basically tell you everything you need to know, like what the game is, which it's action. What are they calling this exactly? A role-playing action-adventure game, so to speak. There's a lot of RPG. Yeah, third person. There's a lot of RPG elements in it. There's a skill tree, which you see in most RPGs. And it's made by Guerrilla Studios, the same guys that are responsible for all the Killzone games. Another thing you want to note, too, is this is an all-new engine. It's called the Decima engine, and that's DECIMA. And something to note here, Kojima is working on his game Death Stranding, and they will be using the same engine that Horizon Zero Dawn was built on. So this engine has been built from the ground up, and the game looks spectacular. So those are all things to factor in. The game follows a female protagonist, and her name is Aloy, and it's Aloy. I'm not fond of the name. What do you think about the name, Mike?
It sounds like it's a weird take on an actual piece of metal, I guess.
Yeah, like an alloy rim or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And some people call her Alloy, and some people call her Allo, and I don't know. But anyways, regardless of that, she's a cool looking character. You know, she's rocking dreadlocks, and she's an archer. So one of the main weapons you're going to be using in this game is a bow and arrow. So, the bow and arrow, it's upgradable, and depending on what fetch missions you get from all the different tribes in the game will kind of dictate like what kind of elements you'll be adding to the weapon. So depending on how you choose to play the game will be, the different elements that are attached to the weapon. Aside from bow and arrow, she's got a whole bunch of different little, she can lay like trip mines, and then she has like a staff for like melee combat. So there's a bunch of different ways to play the game. You can either just get...
I want to interject you.
What's
bro,
up?
What is up with the fucking rope arrow? What's up with that?
The rope arrow? I don't know specifically.
The trip rope thing?
Yeah, that has like the little bubble on it or whatever. Yeah. So basically, like what that is exactly what you just said. It's like a trip mine, basically. So what you can do is you can like lure the the dinosaurs towards that trip mine, and you just got to make sure you don't hit it yourself. And then basically when they go through the trip mine, it explodes, and it'll do massive damage.
Well, that's kind of dope. I was also looking at, they're talking about all these unique shots that I'm only saying this because you just brought it up, because that's one of the things you need in a game to feel engaged in the combat, different way. I mean, because a lot of the problems with these big third-person open-world RPG type games is sometimes you can have them and they not feel fresh every time you go into battle. You understand what I'm saying? It's more like it becomes samey, where basically you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Horizon Dawn, people are talking about how different you can approach every single fight you come across, which I think is kind of dope.
Yeah, and I mean, depending on which fetch missions you're getting and like what new weapons that you obtain. Like that's gonna help make the game feel fresh. And then just from what I'm hearing from all the previews, like the game's about 60 hours long. So right around the time that it may start to feel a little stale is right when the game is coming to a close. So I feel like 60 hours is like the perfect amount of time for the game. I feel like some games are long just for the sake of being long, and sometimes they try to keep you invested in their game too long. And sometimes, like The Witcher is a good example of that. Like, in this day and age with so many great games coming out, like I don't want to spend 300 hours on one game. So from what I'm hearing, this game's about 60 hours long, and to me that's like the perfect like amount of time investment. And one thing I am hearing, because like I know there's a lot of people out there that like games with a lot of end game content and a lot of reason to keep going back, this game doesn't really give you much incentive to go back and play it. Once you played through the story, the only thing you're going to have left to do is just some side missions to go clean up. But other than that, there's like virtually no replayability, so that's something to factor in.
I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, let's go over some of the reviews. It's getting a 88 on Metascore on Metacritic. It's getting.
By the way, about that, like we did a thread prior to the game releasing where we all kind of tried to give our predictions as to where we thought the game was going to fall. And 8 hours before the game launched, I said it would get an 88 on Metacritic score. So I just want to shout myself out real quick.
You finally get a prediction right.
No kidding.
IGN gave it a 9.3, and GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. So the game's getting rave reviews. Now,
yeah, and on a couple of different outlets, they gave it a perfect score. So this game is one of those games that you only see like every once in a while. Like this is going to be a console defining game, and I'm hearing all these rumors that the sequel's already been greenlit. Like Guerrilla Games knows they have a hit on their hands, so keep going.
well, I mean, not only that, let's bring it up now. This is a PS4 only title, right? Or am I wrong?
You are 100% correct, good sir.
So this is because I was thinking today, this next lineup, or the next couple games come out within literally a week from each other. Which another thing I want to bring up really quick, Jay. The embargo for this game came up a week prior to release. So Guerrilla,
that's when
has
you
got some
know
fucking
you have a hit
cojones.
on your hand. Yeah, no, that's when you know that you have a good game. Like you see a lot of times that embargoes will go up like midnight the day before the game launches. Like that's when I feel like games may have something to hide. The fact that they gave this a whole week to be out and about and get previews in, like that's a good sign. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I totally get it. Because that doesn't happen very often. Normally, game companies, publishers, developers, like you said, basically give, these big name companies a day to talk about it before the game is released.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited. I'm excited to get my hands on it. I won't buy it at first. I'll borrow it from one of you guys, or probably get off the Redbox. But this is
Bro,
way
this
too many.
game's got a full day-night cycle with the full weather system built into it too. So you could be getting snow flurries while you're playing. It could just bust out in like a rainstorm or a lightning storm, bro. Oh, man. And there's
So
25 robotic creature designs in the game, so you're gonna see a good variation of creatures out there in the wild.
which brings me to another point about it. People are talking about each individual enemy has a specific waypoint, which you get to find out. Which
Yeah,
I think
and
is kind of
about
cool.
that, yeah, I was gonna say, and about that, what's really cool too, Mike. You know how a lot of games like to give you the tutorial up front to get you used to the game.
Hmm.
Well, in this
Yeah.
game, they decided not to put a tutorial at all. They want you to basically use trial and error to learn the mechanics of the game, which I think is really cool. They tried to make this like world so immersive that they don't like take you out of it by doing these stupid little tutorials. So I thought that was neat.
Well, I mean, it just depends though, because if you look at it from our perspective, yeah, that's probably fine. But for more of a casual gamer, depending on how hard the game is or the gameplay mechanics are, you need a tutorial. So basically, what I'm seeing they're saying is our gameplay is deep enough, but it's simple enough to give you free reign at the very beginning. We're not going to train you. The first area you run into will be, less inhabited, or the monsters will be easier until you get the grasp. But we're not going to give you a tutorial. You understand? Do you agree with me there, or am I reaching for the stars there?
No, no, you're absolutely right. I agree with that 100%.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one, Jay. 4 days after the Nintendo Switch is released. Now, yet again, people today finally started to talk about the Nintendo Switch. The embargo's up. And what is this? Maybe 6 days prior to launch? 7 days prior to launch?
Yeah.
Um, have you been looking at this stuff? Because, you can register your Nintendo account already. Make sure you go to the Nintendo website and set up your account, get it locked. So when you do plan on
Yeah.
getting a Switch, your account is already ready for you.
And if you need, we have the link on our Facebook group page. Just go over to Facebook under the page section, look for the Square Gamers. I have a link right on that page that takes you to where you can set up your own gamer account and all that stuff.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, because if I eventually when I do get the Switch, I already have a Nintendo account that I've been linked into my 3DS that I've had for years. Which reminds me, there's plenty of games on that account attached to it. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Hell yeah.
Now, I don't know if you look, Jay, but one of the biggest complaints we had about the Switch was only having a 30 gig system memory in it
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
in the console. Now, I found out today that almost 4 gigs of it is locked away for system UI and system OU or operating system. Um, 25 gigs. And how big is Zelda, Jay?
Yeah. Bigger than what's available on the actual hard drive itself.
So basically, Nintendo shot themselves in the foot when it came
So
to this.
basically, in order to download, Zelda onto the console, you will have to upgrade the console's memory the very first day you have it, which we talked about already. It's not that big of a deal because you can just get a scan disk memory card, get 128 gigs, and you'll be set to go. But yeah, it is something that Nintendo kind of dropped the ball on. But you know, I don't know. To me, it's not that huge of a deal, but it is an extra cost, so something to think
Um,
about.
well, Breath of the Wild is 3.4 or 13.4 gigs, um, just for the actual initial download, or for the initial install onto the Switch.
Yep.
Now,
Then you have save files
yeah,
and
correct. So it's gonna be a little more than half, probably about half of your current system space. Which,
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what game's coming out on release day that we're actually gonna buy other than Zelda?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then, to add something else that's being viewed as a negative is that the virtual console, we just found out today that Nintendo announced that it is not going to be available on launch, and that has a lot of people upset, but I'm one of the people that I'm like, well, how long am I going to worry about that? Because I mean, Zelda, that's going to be a game that you're playing for 100 hours. So, I don't think that the virtual console not being there on launch is a big deal.
Well, I mean,
Um,
look at it like this, Jay. I wouldn't look at it as total hours you would spend, but at the end of the day, when you get your Switch and you get your Zelda Breath of the Wild, your next week is going to be solely dedicated to Zelda.
yeah.
Now, once that week passed, yeah, then you're probably gonna, I want to play something else. I don't want to, I don't want to play Zelda right now. I want to play something else. I want to play something, or I had a hard day at work. All I want to do is relax. I don't want to have to, get high, tense and hyped over Zelda because it's gonna do it. Because to what I've seen of the game, it looks pretty sick, and it's gonna be one of those high tension, need your attention games. You know what I mean? It's not one of those games you can just sit back and relax and play.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can see where people are complaining about the Nintendo eShop. it's kind of a bummer, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, as long as they have it up within a timely matter, uh,
That's
give
what
the,
I'm saying.
give them a week,
Give
week
it
and
a
a half.
month.
No, not even
I
a
say a
month.
month.
I want it out. I want it out 2 weeks after launch. Like it needs to be there.
Yeah, true.
And the reason why I say that is because this is a Nintendo. You have your Nintendo account now. It's linked onto a Switch, and a lot of the games that you already have downloaded on the Virtual Console is supposed to be available for the Switch. So
Yeah.
there you go. Shovel Knight, Jay, you posted something on a Facebook group about Shovel Knight today, didn't you?
Yeah, so Shovel Knight will be there on launch, which is again March 3rd. And I wanted to play Shovel Knight on PS4. It's a game that I still have not played, and I know it's a widely like well received game. And when I found out that it was going to be a launch title on the Switch, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait to play it on the Switch because I feel like that little handheld tablet is like the perfect way to play Shovel Knight. So I'm waiting, and
So
that's a pretty big indie that's coming right at launch. So
yeah, that's another one. I held it off. Or I held off on that as well. I
yeah,
also
and
held off. I also
this
held
is the
off on.
complete edition that comes with the added DLC. So
Oh, is it really?
yeah,
Okay, so you get what is it? Green Knight, right? Isn't it Green Knight?
yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Well, I mean that's cool because I mean I held that on that. I even held that on Salt and or no yeah Salt and Sanctuary for the PS4 because I had the Vita at the time and it's supposed to come out for the Vita and I held out on it and it's still
Yeah,
not
that's
out
that
for the
Souls
Vita.
game, right?
Yeah, it's a Souls type side scroller game. Looks really cool. I mean, it's
Yeah,
something worth
yeah.
trying.
Yeah, it definitely looked cool. So we mentioned what two negative things right now. So the memory card that you're gonna need pretty much at the launch, and then the eShop not being there at launch. Now there's another piece of negative news that's coming out in all the previews, and it's that I guess the Joy-Con controllers are desyncing from the console. Did you hear about that?
Yes, we had what Denny over in the group post that,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yep.
What's going on with that, Jay? Is it
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, it's something pretty game breaking actually, because I mean, in the middle of a playthrough, your controller for whatever reason just desyncs from the console, and I guess right now it's isolated. It's not every console out there, but it is a large number of consoles, and that's not great news because there was talks that the Nintendo Switch was a rush console, and so they didn't have enough time to do all the R&D and make sure all these bugs were taken care of. And this could be something that's could be the equivalent of the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death, because if you have a console that keeps desyncing your controller, I mean, you can't play that console. So that's a pretty big deal, and it's something that I think the listeners need to, if you haven't already like pre-ordered your console, this may be something you want to wait on. Like let Nintendo figure it out and how they're going to handle it. Because the last thing you want to do is get this console, have it in your house, and not be able to play it, and have to send it out to Nintendo to get it fixed. So
Yeah,
that's kind of a bummer, dude.
that pain in the ass. I mean, I guess all the guys who are buying the Pro controller at launch, it won't affect them at all. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because I
yeah.
don't think that's not wireless, is it? Or is it wireless?
Yeah, the Joy Cons are wireless. They
No, the Pro.
slide off. Oh, the Pro. Ooh, that's a good question. I never even thought about that. I shit. I
I'm
don't know.
I'm checking it right now. But I mean, let's move on to an actual positive. I'm hearing how amazingly clean the UI and menu systems are on the Switch. Nintendo's
Yep.
always been pretty good at keeping it simple and clean. So another thing I brought up, the Nintendo servers aren't live right now for the guys who got a copy or got a console early to do some press work and featurettes on it. So they weren't able to test the screenshot function. They were able to test it, but they don't know how the share works and what sharing social media it allows for. You can set up multiple profiles, and for you guys who didn't know, the Switch is region unlocked, so you can go on to the link Jay posted on our group page and actually sign up for a Japanese account as well. So you can basically play the Japanese games as they come out in Japan before they come to the US as well without having to hack your system or mess with any settings on your system itself. So the way it works is you log on your Japanese account or you turn off your Switch, you turn it back on and you log on your Japanese account and then you get full access to the Japanese Nintendo eShop, which I think is pretty amazing. Just because I'm a big Japanese RPG guy, and a lot of that Japanese RPGs don't come to the West often. So that's kind of cool. So now with the Pro controller, now it is wireless, Jay, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
$70 for a wireless Pro controller.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of a bummer because if it's having a sync problem, hopefully it's from the Joy-Con and not from the Switch. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like if
Yeah.
like if if it's desyncing from the Joy-Con controller side, Nintendo might be okay. But if it's coming from from the actual Switch from the console side or the handheld side, then you have a big problem because then the Pro controller will continue to desync as well, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good news, man. It's a pretty monumental fuck up from Nintendo, and I hope it's something that is as simple as patching, some kind of update. But I guess time will tell, and I don't want to speculate too much
Yeah, of
because,
course.
could be the hardware or it could just be something that's a simple patch. So I guess time will tell there.
Okay, so we're gonna move right on, Jay. Coming up a week after our Horizon Dawn or Zero Dawn and the Switch, we have two pretty good games, pretty I guess appealing games. They look really good. We actually have one that is in open beta today. It started today. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. I got to spend a couple minutes with it before we started the podcast. Jay, you had a couple more minutes. What's your initial impressions going into it?
Okay, so driving vehicles feels pretty clunky. You can't change the camera angles inside vehicle, which I always hate because when given the option, I love like in car camera setup, and it seems like it'd be pretty cool to drive like these Jeeps and see some dust kick up on the windows or whatever. So you can't do that, and just the overall controlling of the vehicle feels crappy. But as soon as you get out of the vehicles and you get on foot, the game starts feeling really good. I got to do like the first little area in the first mission, and letting you sync attacks with the other three members of your squad was really cool. There was this area where there was two enemies, and you can sync your attacks to where as soon as I fire my weapon and kill one enemy, your what would you call it, NPC teammate, there you go, he killed the other one, all in sync, and we were using silenced pistols, so we went in there silently. We were able to take out the area, and whenever a game gives me the option to use stealth, that's always my preferred method. To me, it's kind of like a game of chess, and it definitely gave me that feeling. After the first little area, you go to this other area, and first thing I saw was a helicopter, so naturally I want to jump in it
Fly.
and try to see how hard it is to control. It's actually not bad. Like controlling the helicopter feels a lot better than controlling the land vehicles. One bummer though is like I tried to parachute from the helicopter and apparently it doesn't let you. So that's another bummer there.
Okay, before we go any further on, for you guys who don't know, Ghost Recon Wildlands comes out on March 7th, and it is a open world 4-player co-op, online or offline. You don't have to play with your friends or play with other people. Third-person shooting game. So, which is another thing, Jay. You might not have realized the three biggest games of this year are Ghost Recon, Horizon Zero Dawn, and the next game we're talking about, all open world. So this literally is open world season right now, or open season
Yes.
as I like to call it, which is pretty
Yeah.
dope. The customization, character customization that I've noticed so far in Ghost Recon. It's pretty dope. I didn't get to mess with the gunsmith. They brought that back from the older Ghost Recon games. So if you're a fan of that system, that's back in full flesh, which is pretty cool. Now, is there anything else you want to touch on before we move on, Jay?
Yeah, just I want to hit on what you just said. The customization is one thing that jumped out to me in the beta because you can really, tailor make your
Character.
what character. Like it's just the level of customization right out of the box is something really cool. The preset tattoos that you get. I don't know if you mess with the tattoos,
Oh,
but man, they look
fucking
amazing.
bro. It's like they fucking had it like the Milky Way Galaxy tattoo shop. Fucking make that shit.
Yeah,
Fucking
and then
legit.
like I got to put like the trucker mustache on my character and put a cowboy hat on him,
Yee,
which
doggy.
that was some tattoos, bro. I was looking right, bro. And then they had aviator glasses, but unfortunately you had to unlock those. But yeah, the customization's super good. It gives you a lot of different skins on all your outfits, which is awesome. Anytime a game like this gives you a lot of customization, like that's definitely a positive thing. That way we're not all running around looking the same.
Okay, so for you guys who don't know, it's open beta. You can download it right now on the PlayStation Store and Xbox Live Store. You can also go to Ubisoft.com and actually set it up there with a Ubisoft account if you already have one.
Or you can just go to our Facebook page where I've also linked that as well. So anything you ever need is going to be on our Facebook page, guys. Make sure you go on Facebook.com and look for the Square Gamers page and like it because that's all the information you'll need in one place.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to one of my most anticipated games of this beginning of the year, other than For Honor. Okay, Nier Automata, or as I like to call it, Nier Automata, which is basically a Japanese-style third-person action RPG, open world as well. That is a fucking mouthful.
Pretty much.
Cool thing about this game, Jay, it is a multiple developer and publisher game where we have Square Enix and we have Platinum Games. Unfortunately, canceled Scalebound. This game went through, and this game looks fucking amazing. It is if you're into anime, you're into the weird, quirky Japanese style game. This is the game for you. Basically, the way it works, Jay, is humans overdeveloped artificial intelligence and it took over the world. And the humans are living on Moon right now, and you're playing as androids sent from the moon to capture Earth again. It sounds and looks amazing. I'll give you a little example, Jay. These guys at Square Enix and Platinum did such a good job with character models and motion capture and the overall game that when you're running and you hit a rock, you trip.
Oh, wow. That's what's up.
I wait for your reaction. I wait for your reaction. That's how, as you guys can tell, I'm excited for this game. This is definitely one of the games that if you're into the genre, the third-person action RPG type games, like Dark Souls and Neo and those type games, it's not going to be as difficult, but it's going to be the same type of game where it's fast action. Excuse me, melee combat. They do a pretty good job, Jay. I make sure you guys. I'll put a link up on the Facebook group chat onto the PlayStation did a featurette on it for about 30 minutes, and it showed some like gameplay, like final end gameplay. Game looks sick, all kinds of crazy stuff. Now, with that said, the 3 games that are coming out, within a couple months or within a week from each other, open world games. Are we seeing a trend here, Jay, or is it just me?
Like everyone likes to call open world games a genre, but I don't even think it's a genre as much as it is just kind of like the standard in this day and age. Like people love that sandbox style game, and we're seeing a lot of open world games, but that's pretty much due to the fact that that's just the best way to create games now. Like you just drop the character into the world and let let the player dictate how they want to play these games. And I love it, man. Bring on some more, because I mean, later on in the year we have Days Gone, which is open world.
Yep.
We have Super Mario Odyssey, which is open world. You already talked about Zelda Breath of the Wild
That's
and
open
Horizon
world.
Zero Dawn, all open world, bro. And it's awesome, man. Like, what can I say?
Okay, so before we end this episode, okay,
Hold on, I want a prediction. What do you think is going to end up being the most critically acclaimed open world game of this year? I'm gonna give you 4 choices, Mike. I'm gonna give you 4 choices.
I
All right?
already have my choice.
Okay, go for
It's
it.
gonna be Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay, and I think it's gonna be Horizon Zero Dawn. So we'll see who ends up claiming victory on that.
Well, I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn's a great game, but Zelda's the one selling consoles, so we'll see. We'll see. And next
Bro,
week,
you don't think that Horizon's gonna sell a few consoles?
no, but not like Zelda is. I mean, people are freaking Switches are sold out because of Zelda. It's not sold out because of fucking 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, that's a true story there.
That's for sure. But before we go, guys, we want to remind you guys that check out our YouTube, guys. We have some cool stuff going on. Jay's been streaming Resident Evil 7. I've been watching him
Loving it.
and hearing you fucking scream like a little baby. We also have our For Honor review coming up here soon. Make sure you guys go to our Facebook page. Jay, hit that with the plug.
Facebook page, it's just facebook.com. Under the page tab, look for the Square Gamers. Also, a quick shout out to Red Barrel Games. I just beat Outlast, which is this cool little indie survival horror game, and it's a different take on the genre. Like, you don't fight enemies in this game, you hide from them. Oh my god, I've never been as scared as I was playing that game my entire life. The way they use the sound design in that game, if you're playing with headphones on, it will scare the living shit out of you. So shout out to Red Barrel.
Well, guys, that's been a Square Gamers podcast. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace out.
Later. And then one more delayed later for Patreon.